primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try and be the best. Not be better than other people, be the best for you.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
All right. Blessings. Welcome to Primetime Home Buyers, and you're here with Lashley, the real estate legal consultant. Welcome to our monthly free seminar that we host on plenty platforms. We invite people to sign up on Eventbrite. So shout out to the individuals who signed up on Eventbrite. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate our Atlanta family, our Georgia family. So today we're going to be doing a conventional topic for wealth building concepts. You know, we have a sector under Primetime Home Buyers called Secure Your Energy. Secure Your Energy is very important because what we do is get you prepared to get into real estate investment. It's not just a mindset, but it's also a way of living. And that starts with budgeting and planning. A lot of people who get into or are locked out, and let me say this, a lot of people who feel like they're locked out of the market is not only because of the amount of income, but it could be because of practices, because of credit issues. So with the potential to invest in tax liens and tax deeds without having good credit, not only do it allow you to gain some assets, but it also gives you time to train yourself. So that's why we have these sessions called Secure Your Energy, budget and planning. It's like planning and budgeting. Okay. So these are some of the concepts that a lot of us think we know, but we really don't know. So when we go over it and we get new and innovative ideas of how to budget, when you on a budget and actually meet your goal to invest in a tax lien, let's say save $5,000, save $10,000. It may seem undoable to you right now because you don't really understand your finances. You don't have a full picture of what comes in and come out. So we're going to go over this. It's our budgeting and planning section. What are assets versus liability? Now, when I say what's assets versus liability, I think we are all past the high school age and we pretty much know what an asset is versus a liability. An asset is something that brings income into you, as well as it generates revenue. You can liquidate it without having sometimes a long threshold, depending on what the asset is. And assets can be different types of assets. If it can be real estate, you can have more than one car that's sellable, like fancy cars, depending on what your hobby is, coins that because collectible, it's different type of assets. Your first home, as far as the more when it comes to the home owning process, we all know that your first home is not considered an asset. So I just want to break down the little concept of assets because we should know what an asset versus a liability. The main goal here with this particular live is to highlight what's liabilities. Also, we want to balance out your liabilities versus your expenses and your savings and your budget. So this is what this actual session is going to be about. And it's going to be a two-part session because we actually have a flashback that we're going to share with you. And that flashback is going to be, hold on one second. That flashback is going to highlight how to profit in 2024 tax lien and deed investments, and is literally getting you prepared mentally to do these things, okay? And getting yourself into a pattern of doing things correctly when it comes to budgeting and savings. Once you do things in a pattern, as far as getting your budget together and saving money, you're going to be a great investor. As far as having a high volume of portfolio, meaning like your portfolio is so big, but it's still you don't know how to manage it. These things happen because people don't know the basis of budgeting and savings and putting things on timetables, making sure things get done. This is the exact mind frame that you actually need when you're investing in tax liens or tax deeds. So I just want to make sure that we have this all good on the screen. You can see the PowerPoints. Y'all let me know if they're not changing. Hold on a second. Okay. So give me 1 second. It looks like when I share it large. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to share it in this screen to you guys some way, somehow. Let me see. And I want to see, can I hide this? I probably can't. I'm having some technical difficulties because sometimes when I add my PowerPoints directly to StreamYard, they don't click over and you end up not seeing the screen. So I don't want that to happen to you guys. So, okay, let's get to it. Budget and planning, what are assets versus liabilities, presented by Lashley Primetime Home Buyer. But this is assets versus liabilities with a little spin because it's about budgeting and savings, okay? And once you know the assets that you have as far as what you have coming in and your liabilities as far as what bills you have to pay, the things that you have to handle, you're going to be able to budget and save and plan. Does that make sense? So today's goal is to get you in the mindset, to get you into having a militant mindset about your budget, about your plans, about your goals. Okay. So budgeting and planning, and let me highlight on a low income, because most of us, when it comes to inflation and what's going on, we can't beat the punch. So we have to take what little we have, prioritize, and still meet our goals. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what we're talking about, because we're all in this tight economy. So budgeting and planning, it is possible to save. Is it possible to save in this economy? These are some things we're going to address. What are assets versus liability? Budgeting and saving tips for beginners. So these are the three concepts that we're going to be targeting here in this PowerPoint. So assets versus liability. We went into what's an asset. We definitely know if it's generating money for you, you can hold it, you can liquidate it when you need to. It is considered an asset, okay? What are liabilities? So we're going to be going over concepts of liabilities. Generally applied to someone owing someone else, or it's some type of, how can I say, investment or situation where you have monies coming out before it's coming in, and that's for, say, your first home. Applies to obligations or risks. Long-term liabilities and short-term liabilities falls under this concept. So you can have a long mortgage, you can have a short credit card, small credit card payment. These are the things where you need to consider they are liabilities. Okay, and when you know what your liabilities, you start to prioritize how to break down those liabilities one by one. Okay, so you long-term liabilities and short-term liabilities, you have to keep in mind these concepts of liabilities happens over a short period of time or long period of time. Okay, liabilities, types of liabilities. So just gonna go over that because people really don't consider themselves like these things liabilities. If you have to spend more money to keep it, it's a liability. So house expenditures can be liabilities. As far as the roof that needs to be fixed. These are not things that happen all the time, but this is one of the things that makes, especially as a first-time home buyer, that your house being a liability. If you had a second home, you have income coming in from the renter, then things that need to be fixed, you can offset that. So it kind of like mitigates what's a liability when it comes to owning more than one or two properties. Interest on credit cards. Credit cards is a liability. Personal and business loans. Unwise spending. Yes. Yes. Unwise spending is a liability. Your way of thinking and living can be a liability. That's just like someone who likes to just like to race real fast. Their lifestyle is a liability. So you need to keep that in mind. The unwise spending is a form of a liability. So you have to get that under control. Unexpected hospitalizations can happen. Car payments is a liability. Definitely. So we try to pay cash and carry. That's why I keep my cars 2016. I don't worry about having a flashy car because it's sometimes especially in this economy, it's better to have no car payments, but especially when you have to pay car insurance. So you have to pick your liabilities, balance them out, make it make sense, especially if you have a goal. You may not be able to get the car you want this year, but after you do what you need to do, you may be able to buy the car in a year or so. So your first home is a liability, as mentioned. Your children and family, yes, they can be liabilities. I'm going to be honest. You have to pick and choose the certain situations that you get involved in because some people just keep people in mess. You know what I'm saying? And if you that type of person who, really care and go for bat for your family, sometimes it can be really a liability. So you have to pick and choose your battle. Who do you keep involved in your inner circle? That would depend on you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're getting above the age or getting close to retirement. And, a lot of us are over 40. So I really want to keep that in mind. This is a form of a liability. So you got to pick and choose, especially if you have a goal for the next couple of months. Maybe you have to I cannot fund this person these particular months. I got to get this done. Sometimes you have to prioritize yourself. So liabilities versus expenses. What are expenses? Expenses is the monthly payments that must be made on a monthly cycle. So you want to know what your expenses is. The concept of expenses is related to your revenue. It's a give or take. Money comes in versus money going out. Simple. Understanding the baseline of your expenses is the key to budgeting and planning. So the baseline of your expenses, what do you have? I have my car payment, I have my mortgage, I have my insurance, I have home insurance. What are the most important things that you need to meet your needs first? Not your wants, your needs. And that's definitely house, food, and water. Okay? Prioritize those things first. Most individual expenses take a good portion of their net income. 60 to 80% is really being modest, but at these times sometimes it's taking up to 90%, especially with all the inflation. And these are some of the things that you want to keep in mind because we're going to go into it. I think it's 20 40 60 method. So when I say 60 to 80%, this is ways that you need to look at the totality of what money you bring in. Okay, you get to that base amount of pay and say, hey, this is what come out, this is what come out, this is what I have, and this is probably what I want to spend. So we're going to get into different methods of savings and looking at ways to mitigate your expenses, which is these expenses are considered liabilities. Okay, so liabilities versus expenses is in that concept. Some expenses are not liabilities. Okay, so because you're going to have enough income coming in. Like for example, so that you have two homes. The second home brings bring money in. You don't have to do too much to maintain it. That is an expense for you though, because you may still have a little mortgage on it, but you may be getting more in, or you may don't have a mortgage, and then something comes up. You're always going to have to pay insurance and things like that and maintenance. So all expenses are not liabilities, but you want to know the difference, and it's all about prioritizing what you have going on around you. So net income. What is your net income? Net income is considered your revenue after your expenses, and that can include taxes. So after all of your expenses came out, you like, okay, this is what I have left. You see what I'm saying? Not the net on your paycheck after the taxes. That's we talking about net after you finish paying all of your needs. Okay. When creating a budget and planning, it is important to understand your net income after expenses. This insight will aid you in determining how much you can save and will guide your budgeting and planning. So, right from there, once you get all them liabilities out the way, which is mandatory in some cases and some is not, I think we're going to get into like which ones you kind of mitigate. You kind of like, okay, I don't need that. I need this, especially when it comes to hard times. Sometimes you just be like, wait, we're going to have to call and negotiate this and see, can I go on a deferment, or maybe they can lower my payments for this while I work on this situation. You have to have your negotiating skills in too. Just, always ask. Closed mouth don't get fed, especially if you're in this process of learning how to budget and save and fix your credit at the same time. You can fix your credit at on your own. You guys know you don't have to go to a guru. You don't have to go to a credit repair. You literally can, one, sign up for Equifax. I think it's like $19.99 a month, so you can get your full access to all your credit reports, and make sure you put a lock on your credit. You get your full credit report and you start to contact these vendors and talk to them about seeing, can you lower what you owe them? Can you extend the time frame? And with the stipulations that they will remove these things off your credit report, and then you have to know who to negotiate with. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. These are some of the things that you could be doing, working on while you're saving your money to get into the tax lien and tax deed process, or foreclosure. If you want to buy foreclosures, it just have to be some type of how can I say, strictness or some uniform approach to this, because some people really can't see how they can get started in the real estate market. And it starts with this. It starts with your home, your finance, how you manage it, and especially when you're dealing with tax liens and tax deeds and you build a big portfolio. If you're able to time manage and money manage your own home, you'll be able to time manage and money manage all of these properties that you start to obtain, and follow the procedures you need. All right, budgeting and planning. The purpose of setting up a budget, okay, it is to help you effectively control your finances. That's what we've been talking about, your spending habits, and helping you achieve your goals. Learning your spending habits is the first step to approaching planning. Being realistic and honest is the key. And if you don't see that in me, it's like real is real. I have this amount coming in, ain't no, perpetrating the fraud. This is how much my bills is. What do we have to do to balance this out, or figure out, a better method for me to save? So start small and plan big. Yes, 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 yes. Believe in yourself. Say, hey, I want to save $5,000. And in your head, you like, man, I don't even make that much. But you never know the power of your mind and your words. You say, I got a $5,000 budget. Let me see. I only make, $5,000. How can I say not budget? $5,000 goal to do in 5 months. So that means you need $1,000 a month. Your income is $3,000. Your outgoing expensive is $2,200. You got $800, but you still got other pop-up bills. How can you get to your goal? At this point, even if you start small and be like, well, I could save 250, with the hopes of building up to that 1,000, and you may end up getting some residual income or something come along. You got to be creative too, because that's one of the parts a budget is saving. Sometimes you just going to have to kick in a little bit and do a little side gig. Okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, sorry. We clicking through. I appreciate you guys for being here. Please hit the like button. Thank you for being here with Lashley. Budgeting and planning. The purpose of setting up your budget is also to help you. Okay, I did that one. I do apologize. Yee. All right, getting started budgeting. Beginning a budget journey may feel challenging, but with some commitment and careful planning, is entirely achievable. The object is to enhance your finances while well-being, while gaining knowledge and establishing attainable goals. Okay, this is what we do. We're still learning, and we're still trying to, figure this out. The most difficult part is often remaining devoted to the plan. However, exploring various strategies for budgeting can help you stay focused on your ultimate objective. Budgeting tips, okay? Set realistic budget, have a saving goal in mind, know your base monthly income after taxes and expenses, learn to budget with fluctuating income. Yes, and that means that you have to prioritize what you're paying, what is the most important things, and at least make sure that those things are covered. And also, the next things that would affect your credit is the next things that you really want to keep your mind on and make sure that you pay your things on time. Track your spending, understanding your spending pattern. Know the difference between your expenses that are fixed and variable expenses. Like, for instance, car insurance is variable if you don't pay it every month. It's variable to me because I pay it every 6 months. Variable is sometimes you need to have to fix something. Variable, it could come and go, so they variables. Keep periodic spending in mind and under control. So if you like to do a little shopping, things like that, you may want to just cut that out and wear some of the stuff that you got already, especially if you have a goal. Okay. Now, this was the method. I had the numbers wrong, but this is the savings method, the 50-30-20 method. If you guys never heard of that, we're going to break that down a little bit. What is the 50-30-20 method? Trying to keep your base spending at about 50% of your income. That's better said than done. I said mostly a lot of our expenses today, especially in America, is at or above 80%. But this will be a goal. 30% may go to variable and periodic spending, if that's, you have that amount, and 20% focus on paying off debts or savings. Or you can allocate 10% towards paying debts off and 10% towards savings. So this is a way you can come up with your own percentage, because it could be 80, 10, and 10, based on what's going on. But regardless, this is a way to look at your monies. This is a way to break it down. The most important thing that we're talking about today is concepts, ways to apply it. Once you have a concept of a way to understand something, it's going to be easier for you to actually implement it. You hear budget and say, I'm just going to save. I'm saving this money. And it's really never a plan. It's never really something that you visualize. So if you could visualize, oh, okay, 70% of my money go to bills, then 20% goes to extra spending, and 10% I can save, variable spending. So another method to the old school ones, that's like me, old school, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us saving cash. If you ever heard about the envelope method, okay, so the envelope method starting a budget journey can seem daunting too. It can seem daunting because, especially if you have the money there. What the envelope method is, basically you save money in an envelope, but we're going to read this. But with daunting and thoughtful planning, it is completely possible. The aim is to improve your financial health by educating yourself and setting realistic goals. The greatest challenge often lies in staying committed to the plan. Nonetheless, trying out different budget strategies can help you maintain your focus on your end goal. So another budget strategy is the envelope method. So the envelope method is where you just take your money and you say, hey, this is for rent, because especially if you get paid on a bi-weekly, you put 400 for this week, 400, you got your rent for the month in the envelope. Seal that till it's paid. You need to be paid. In the beginning of the month, you put $50 and then $30 in for your internet bill. You see what I'm saying? This is more so for the old school people and the young people too as well, where you can literally just put your money in envelopes for each thing that you need to pay if you're not an online person. Most people are, but when I was younger, that's what made me so efficient. I was a more of an envelope type person. I paid myself with money orders, different things. I had trust issues with the bank because the bank was doing weird stuff. So I was like, I'll pay my money order. So some of that, this is the save cash method. And like I say, you make an envelope for every single bill that you have to pay in the savings envelope. And once that savings envelope, you have two. You have a big one and the small ones. And what you do is you put the money in there, you lick it and you close it and you put it in there, so it could be $20 this month, this week, $30 this week, $100 this week, and at the end, you'll be able to go back and see how much you saved. And this also teach you how to keep a roster. It'll also teach you how to be basically militant with your money. It's going to be there. If you open this, you're not going to get to your goal, especially if the money is for rent and things like that. So this is another method. And the reason why we're showing this, because it's just like my program. I know people are different learners. They apply things different, some visual, some auditory, some tactile. So some people can do the 50-30-20 method straight from their bank account, like we just talked about, where we know 50% of the budget going here, 30's going there, 20's going there. But then you have other people that are like, nah, I'm gonna deal with the bank. Let's get some envelopes around here, because all this cash is having in my pocket. I end up just buying stuff. Okay. So we're going to get into another method. That's why we're talking about this. We're trying to be innovative here so we can make sure that people could get into the real estate market by honestly saving money, and they can do it. All right. And then there's other creative methods that we're going to talk about today as well. I have a flashback for you guys, I believe. And that flashback is, again, it's going to be how to profit in 2024, tax liens and tax deed investment. I think I talk about some methods for you to fund yourself, but we do have a series that I'm going to be releasing that you guys are here that falls under Secure Your Energy, that talks about budgeting and planning and saving so you can get into the tax lien game. All of these videos are located on my website, with the community. It is a learning-based website, so you guys can literally just indulge in all tax liens and tax deeds education, okay? So this is the envelope method. Just to break down, creating an envelope. A, choose the right materials, physical envelope, digital alternatives if you need to. That could be your bank can let you do that too. Label each envelope according to the expense category. Visualize the budget and importance of keeping cash separate. So visualizing the budget and the importance of keeping cash separate. So you want to know what's your budget, what you got, and the importance of keeping cash separate. That's what you keep in mind. Allocating cash to each envelope. A, how to withdraw cash from your bank account without overspending. This is one of the things that you can do. Allocate money to that particular envelope. A distributor to allocate amount into each envelope. And tips for sticking to the amount allocated per category is basically lick the envelope. Okay? Don't open it until you need it. Or you give it to someone who you know is not going to give it to you unless you really need it and you trust. Like, for instance, I did this with my daughter, and she knew she couldn't come to me and ask me unless she really needed it, because I was going to drill her. And after a while, she was like, I got to do it myself. And then she's still trying to get her life together with budgeting, because people, still need help. But if you have somebody around that you won't steal your stuff, you can actually put it in a money order, write it to yourself, and put it in an envelope and give it to the person, and they can't deposit it. So it's just some methods sometimes, because people, can money be like drugs. You just got to use it. You know what I'm saying? So eliminate spending from the envelope. The guidelines for spending each cash from the envelope. You got to put guidelines like, I will not touch this envelope unless I have to pay this. Like, I would not take money from the food envelope, because that's most important, unless I have to pay the insurance that comes up at a variable time. This is just how you're going to have to look at things, okay? Adjusting the budget as needed. Money's more this time, money's less this time. We have people who basically sometimes they just do Uber Eats, and they make their money there, and that variables. And some people make a lot of money doing that. We have people who are waiters, those type of things. So their money varies. So this is probably a good method for them too, because they're more cash people. So that's good. And the benefit of the envelope method: enhance ability with cash transaction, increase awareness of spending habits. Because you keep like putting money out, you get mad. Like, wait, I'm gonna win in this envelope 1,000 times. I can't keep doing it. You start judging yourself. I have done the envelope method. That's why I got good. I was like, no, I can't go in this envelope. This is not working. I'm not supposed to do this. And it really made me like just stick to whatever that envelope needed to be and find another method. Reduction in impulse buying and overspending. Yes, because you start feeling judged because you be having a goal and then, rip the envelope open. You see what I'm saying? All right, so let's move forward. Every buck has a job. This is a mindset. Every buck has a job method, jobs method. Okay, whatever. Every dollar counts in this budget method ensuring that by the end of the month you have zero remain to spend. Okay, so your goal is to make sure every single dollar is allocated to something, and not saying that no money's not allocated to savings. Okay, um, beginning by allocating funds to essential household needs such as food, cable, insurance, and other necessity. Home, pay your mortgage first or your rent. Next, I always pay my rent. If I had extra money, I would pay my rent a month ahead of time, then work on that next credit card because it gave me a little buffer to feel good and safe. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys could pay your rent on the first and then kind of pay it on the 15th, 16th, and then if you could pay it again because you're already ahead of time for that next month, then pay about the 12th or 13th, you'll literally be a month ahead on your mortgage or your rent. If you kind of try to do that one good time, and just keep on just paying it at that time, you'll be ahead. So you want to allocate every bit of money where zero to just hanging out and chilling. Next, establish a section for investing and savings, which should receive a designated amount each month. You don't really want to fluctuate when you have a budget and savings plan, but it happens. Don't judge yourself. But long as you put something in that envelope, feel good, okay? Every dollar is associated to specify or specific, and it's specific categories guiding you towards a disciplined approach to savings and investing. Okay, this method emphasizes the importance of paying your bills on time and effectively reducing your monthly expenses. Yes, when I just told you the method of just sacrificing, pay your mortgage on the first, and then if you can try to pay it on the 16th. I know that's not easy, but you try to hurry pay it again whenever you get a little extra money. That's before you start trying to break down those credit cards. And then when your next money's in that's due for your mortgage, you pay or your rent on the first, and you'll already be a month ahead because you made like 3 payments in 30 days. You see what I'm saying? So you'll be a month ahead. It'll give you time to start looking at your other bills and kind of allocating that and still putting money away for your next payment. But the best thing is to even mortgage payments, car payments, things that come up with compound interest. If you do what I just told you, you literally going to pay more on principal than interest. Okay. And that's our goal, to pay more on principal than interest. So if you get it a little bit 15 days ahead, it'll save you some money. Okay, just little hints and tips. So this method emphasizes the importance of paying your bills on time and effectively reducing your monthly expenses. Be adherent to the strict budget strategy. You create a healthier financial future. So we're giving you different strategies. But my thing is, if you switch these strategies, at least give them a couple of months to try, before you jump to something else. Pick a method and stick to it. Exactly. Choose a method and commit to it. While diversity in approaches can be beneficial, it is essential to give each method at least 3 months to determine its suits for you. Just give at least 3 months. Beginning to understand your budget and your baseline expenses is the crucial step in the process. Regardless of what method you go, your main thing is to to find out what you're working with. What are you working with? What is your liabilities? What's your versus your expenses? And then what you're gonna have to spend. Okay, being truthful and pragmatic about your goals is the second most step you can take. What do I mean by being truthful and pragmatic? Truthful, be truthful. Pragmatic, you supposed to be feeling like it's a problem if you don't stick to it. Okay, like listen, I got told you I was feeling judged. Like, oh man, you keep going in this envelope. Ripped it and sealed it twice. It ain't working. You need to do something. Be better. Focus on prioritizing your spending by examining your spending patterns. You just sometimes got to give it up If you got too many shoes, you only got 2 feet. If you got to go to get a big house to put those shoes in, just wait a minute. Okay, just give it a year. Yes, a year. Your shoes, all the shoes you bought already won't run down. You'll be all right. You can put all your new shoes after that in your new home. You can achieve this by using written tools or online resources to create your spending table. Keep in mind that every dollar has a purpose. Okay, I'm also going to show you today. We do offer a ledger. Is a debt ledger for people who are more visual, tactile creatures that like to walk like creatures, learners. Um, I'm more of a, I like tactile, I'm old school, so I can't go to the computer and just put numbers in and fill it in, and I think that I'm gonna follow that. I have to write down my stuff in a little book. It's certain things I can do online, certain things that my brain don't process. So that's why you have to be diverse. And we're going to show you our debt book that we have for you. It's called Debt Elimination Ledger. It's $20 and it'll help you. I created it more for college, high school students and college students who was learning how to plan and budget, and also middle school students. But there's a lot of people who learn like that. So I must be a middle school student because I have my books every year. I got my own and I use it. I actually use it. So pick and choose a method and stick to it. Prioritize your categories. When you're on the journey to saving, things don't always go according to plan. Some months your income may be lower than expected. So keep in mind these things can happen. A loss of income, family illness might arise. You can experience a job loss. Sudden relocation needs can occur. This is why it's crucial to prioritize your expenses. When time gets tough, you need to determine which expenses should be addressed first. You never know what's going to happen. Prioritize your categories of spending. Make it a priority to always pay your mortgage to safeguard your living situation. I don't care. That's what they always told me. If I ain't have no food in the house, I had light and I had shelter, and then I had some food. Somebody gonna gotta go to the pantry. Okay, so it's kind of like picking and choosing which one would be a priority based on your situation. Things happen, y'all. A lot of things been happening to people, and that's why we talk about this, because I don't want you to feel like you by yourself. Next on the list is food. You see what I'm saying? I know y'all don't want to be skinny, and y'all don't like fasting like me, but there are food pantries. There are a lot of organizations that can help you. That is more feasible than you go look for places to pay your light and your mortgage. Does that make sense? Which is a crucial priority. Shop wisely and stick to a budget by creating a meal plan. Yes, there's certain things that you like to cook. There's certain things you want to cook. Sometimes you want to cook a fancy meal. But if you have a base of the type of foods that you buy, and I'm gonna be honest, I have a base of the type of foods that I buy. I buy some foods from Aldi's, and I love Aldi's, and then I buy some stuff from Kroger. You shop on the outside of the aisles. You know what I'm saying? And then I go to the meat market because I know I'm going to get that meat for that price, this amount. And it's kind of repetitive, but while I'm on a budget, it makes sense. But if I get a little spicy and want to do something, like make some chipotle, something like that, I go get the ingredients, add it to it. Things like that. You got to be creative, but you got to be on point. You see what I'm saying? Ensure that all your insurance policies are current and paid promptly. You don't want to lose access to driving your car. You may be an Uber driver. You may be doing DoorDash on the side, on top to make a little extra money. It works. People be getting money, especially out here. These people be big backing out here in Georgia, and I know other places. So you guys can make money doing that. Eliminate any unnecessary monthly subscriptions. Look for them. Sometimes we sign up for things that we really don't need, especially if you don't need them. Just keep them moving. Limit your entertainment spending. Treat us as the last category in your budget. Yes, I know. You got TV, you got cable, you got outside, take a walk. This is a militant way of thinking, especially if you want to get to what we're going to be talking about in the next part of this seminar, actually getting into investing in real estate. You see what I'm saying? You have to get militant, do sacrifice. It is worth it. So limit your entertainment spending. Always allocate a miscellaneous category for unexpected spending that may arrive. So it's not that easy to have that, but it's always good to try. Okay, and that's the savings. It's different from savings actually. So unexpected category is like a adjacent to spending. Savings. But if you can't do both, just focus on your savings and pray that nothing else happen. But if something happened, you could eliminate one other bill. For instance, if you have two loans going on, you could contact your loan company like, "Hey, I'm coming up on hard times. I just want to see can finance this, or maybe put my payments down for a little while because I'm coming to you ahead of time." They know what economy we in. They just want you to come in and negotiate with them. They want to make sure they still will get paid because it costs more for them to lose the debt and take you to court. You know what I'm saying? So budgeting hints and tips. We're getting to the end of this part of this seminar. Thank you for being with us. If you have any questions, please put them in the box. Maintain a distance between savings and checkings accounts. Expect Except when it's essential to combine them. So I have account somewhere that I forgot about, and I have monies going into that from a certain, one of my incomes, and I just leave it. You know, in the main account that pays all the bills, that's the one that you kind of keep your eyes on. But things like that, you kind of want to not combine the ones that you really don't want to touch. Okay. Prepare for significant upcoming life events, including college expenses, Christmas, wedding. I ain't gonna say Christmas. Christmas. I had to put it up there because people love Christmas. It's coming up. They spend thousands of dollars. People started last year. So if you believe in Christmas and that's what you do, make sure you budget for it. People start early, right after the holiday. Weddings, major insurance payment, car registration, and more. Okay. Organize all bills and receipts in a single location for easy access to your records. Yes. Usually, what I do is I keep all my receipts for each month. So by the end of the year, I have 12 envelopes that's full of receipts. And then when I go do my taxes, I kind of like go through them, which one is gas, which one is what, which one is for the business. That's me. You don't have to do it like that. Some people have an app where they scan their receipts in and it goes up to the whatever, So whatever way works for you, but receipts are good for the IRS and to track for deductions. Okay. Keep your receipts and proof that you're paid. So this helps you on the back end when it's time for taxes. Okay. And moving on, organize all bills and receipts, stay alert and monitor for any unusual spending patterns, such as expenses related to holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, auto repairs, property taxes. Monitor for these things. Property taxes comes up, but if you already have it in your mortgage, you don't have to worry. Auto repairs, as you say, that's variable. It just pop up. Memberships, you don't need them. Get them out of there unless they're really helping you. And subscriptions, okay? Some holidays you got to say, "Hey," and keep it moving. "I'm here. Do you want me to cook something?" I got love. Hey, it'll be okay. Pick your debt enemy. Okay. Select the bill you wish to pay off first. Put your head to it and stick to it. Your top priority should be the one with the highest interest rate, ideally with the lower minimum payments if possible. So you want to go with the ones with the lowest minimum payments as possible, because guess what you're going to do? You're going to make payments that's more than a minimum. And then you're going to be able to hit that principal. And you're going to lower. And then if you pay a little bit ahead of time, you're going to lower how much interest is going towards the principal versus the interest, depending if it's compound interest account. Does that make sense? Your credit cards are compound interest, and car payments sometimes, because you notice when you make your car payments, it'd be like, let's say it's $250, and they're like $150 went to the interest. That's terrible, right? But yeah, and then the rest went to the principal. If you pay ahead of time, the tables will turn with that determination, okay, or lesson. All right, we get into the end focus. Okay, your top priority should be the one with the highest interest, ideally with the lower payments if possible. Focus on making payments towards your debt that are higher than the average, and ensure that they are made before the due date. We just talked about that. Increase your payments can be as simple as adding an extra $20 to $30 to your monthly payment. It is what it is. Something better than nothing. Feel good about it. I'm telling you, once you start on the right direction, then more and more you're going to be able to do. Start with small increments can benefit you in the long run. Now, it says pick your debt enemy. Continue. Prioritize your credit cards as your primary choice if to pay off. Credit cards can carry a high interest rate due to compound interest, as we've been talking about. Make them a significant liability. Review your insurance policies and taxes regularly to identify potential adjustments, especially when it comes to home insurance. You know, they'll give you all this rebuilding insurance and your home not even valued that much. So pay attention to that, because sometimes when they renew your home insurance, they would increase the premium based on crazy stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Pay attention to that. Cut out unnecessary expenses, such as choosing between cable and internet service. You go pick your demon. You want cable or internet? Which one gonna work for you? A lot of people go with the internet because you can end up watching everything that's on TV anyway. So that end up working out really well for people. Bringing in more income. This is something we just have to do. Use your talents. Make your credit card your top priority. Credit cards typically can have the highest interest rate because of the compound interest. Hold up. Did this double up? Okay. Consistently review your insurance policy, as mentioned. I think it doubled up a little bit. Eliminate non-essential expenses, like dedicate, like, you know what I'm saying, making a decision between internet and cable. Never stop looking for ways to make more income. This can be through finding a new job, starting a side hustle, selling unneeded properties or vehicles. Sometimes you just have to downsize for a second. You just contract, retract to just woof. You know what I'm saying? So don't give up on yourself. Rent out extra rooms in your property with, but do that with caution, guys, especially in this crazy day. And sometimes you need a mental background check on people, but you can do that, especially if you buy like a college area, things like that. That's why I wanted to get properties by a college area so I could rent them out to the college students. You can have a contract with them, the school, and really provide housing needs for that sector. Knowing your wants versus needs. We're coming to an end of this particular section, okay? I want to say thank you for the guys who are here, the ones who found this information appealing to you or helpful. Please let me know. Hit the like button. I am here for you guys. We're going to continue to talk about methods to secure your energy and to take those methods and catapult you into real estate, okay? What's important to me is getting the average person back in the market so we can control the inflations in the home, in the housing market. As I state all the time, a lot of our property in America has been basically sold to private entities, and with that goes to say, inflation has taken control. So that's something that we really need to pay attention to. And this is one of the ways of me thinking that I could give back, is literally educate you guys to say, hey, we're going to take our power in our own hand and do what we got to do, because it don't matter who's in the White House. We still gonna be living in our own house, still got them pills, and praying that them policies trickle down to us and we benefit. Am I lying or I'm flying? Okay. So knowing your wants versus needs. And also, before I move on, I just want to say shout out to my Facebook group. Shout out to Rumble. You guys are amazing. I know Rumble is really like a freedom platform. So I appreciate you guys being here with me to get this information. Because people like you and Rumble, I already know. We trying to establish our own. So no disrespect to the other platform, but Rumble is a special set of people, so you know what it is. So understanding the difference between wants and needs is crucial in managing your budget and saving effectively. Wants. This encompass enjoyable activities and indulgence. Why I had to tell y'all what it was? Yes, because they're like, yeah, yes. Needs. Your needs comprise of essential required for survival. If it is not like what to make you happy, that you just need this, that is what you prioritize first, okay? Anything necessary to support you and your family. This represents your fundamental requirements. That's what I had to figure out, my wants versus my needs. Because if I keep going with what I want, it's gonna be broke. These kids ain't gonna have nothing. I had two kids to get into college at the same time. So I had to figure out, everybody needed a car, insurance through the roof, kids crashing cars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all going through what I go through. The objective is to move beyond merely meeting your basic needs and establishing a savings and budget strategy that enables you to prosper. Okay, so I hope some of that information I've discerned with you today has been getting you in a mindset of prosperity. Okay, first step is learning how to fix the problem. So the key takeaways from this part of this presentation is assessing your budget and saving strategies monthly. You assess it, you look at it, you figure out what's going on. Ensure that your budget and saving plans are easily accessible. Nothing that is just too crazy. You don't want to stress yourself out. Monitor your progress consistently every month. Like I'm going to show you the ledger before we get into part two. I have to write my stuff down every month. And then I was like, "Ooh, you spent a lot." And then sometimes when I eliminate credit cards and I get to that third month, some of the boxes be empty. And I'll be like, "Oh, snap. I got rid of that credit card." And then 2 months later, I'll be like, "Oh, snap. The credit card is back." You see what I'm saying? So I'm just being honest. It makes you feel good when you see like, "Ooh, I did good." So some of these items can help you really, really build that momentum. Okay. So monitor your progress consistently, avoid impulsive spending tendencies, opt for cash instead of credit cards to curb overspending. Cut the credit cards. Cut the cord. Now what I do is not have credit cards, but for me to control it, I'm not going to go somewhere when times get hard. I cut the strip off the credit card. I can still use my credit card online. It's still active if I choose not to freeze it, but I can't go to the store with it. Now some of you guys need that. So if you need that, take that. Take that. I don't mean to say that. I'm not being funny, but you know what I'm saying. Take that suggestions and run with it, okay? So have a plan for any surplus funds you may receive. Don't let it sit. Don't be like, "I'm about to get up tonight." You can have a little drink, you have a little fun, but go put that somewhere else. Put it towards a bill. Get those bills eliminated. Let's stop owing them. The interest, let's stop owing the banks. My main thing too. That's why I love Rumble. I do a lot. Um, our goal is to revamp this system. We know that the banking industry is crooked. Shh. So we don't want to pay this interest on money that they're not even housing and they renting out. Well, they're loaning out. You know what I'm talking about. So please, guys, let's get on it. Okay. It's necessary. Set up a automatic bill pay. Do your direct deposit. Yes, if you have two accounts, like you have two checking accounts, and make one your bill paying account, and you know exactly that 80% of your paycheck goes to that account. All your bills that's there is up to 80%, and it comes out automatically. Easy peasy. The other 20 go into the other account, or 10 go into the savings, and 10 go into the spending account. Easy peasy. Some of these banks will let you open all of these surplus accounts so you can manage. They have that. And it's not considered full banking accounts, but it's kind of like saving pockets or something like that. It's not Chase have that. A few of banks have that. Okay, so a schedule regular discussing with your partner to review your progress and adjust your financial goals. That can be your wife, that can be your friend, your mama. In my instance, what I told you is my daughter would come to me. I would like, "What? You want these envelopes?" But I was thinking about getting some shoes. You sure? Don't you have a plan? Once we bust these envelopes open, it's a wrap. You really okay? So go talk to them first before you make any moves. Okay. Last key takeaways: take responsibilities for your actions. You bought it, you paid for it. Get your credit together. You can get some things eliminated or consolidated, yes, but be honorable. Don't worry. When you be honorable, you take your time, it's going to work in your benefit. Okay. Always keep your end goal in sight. And like I always say, get a goal and crush it. Okay. Crush it. Crush it. Crush it. Crush it. So I've been on for 47 minutes. Excuse me, y'all. Oh my goodness. This is not a real chain, y'all. I can't keep jewelry around my neck. It never fails. I always break some type of jewelry. That's why I don't wear jewelry a lot. Somehow it just break. I broke gold chains, all types of stuff. Here we go. Shag it. Anyway, So what I want to do now is we're going to get to part 2 of this broadcast. Thank you for being with me today. I went to move my hair. Thank you for being with me today. What I do want to just show you guys is that we have a debt tracker book. That debt tracker book is $20. We do have an updated version of it. I wanted to put it on the screen. And basically this goes with our secure your energy budget and planning. It's not easy for everybody. Um, it's not easy for everybody. Shop. All right, so gift card. Let's go to the shop here. If you go to the shop page on our website, here we have the tax lien directory for $27.99. That is a full state to state breakdown that you can get. We also have debt investment, a monitoring and savings book. So this is our quick view of this book. In this book right here, this is I think I have a little bit of inside look. It's basically a ledger. It's a great ledger that I use. One side of the page will say your sources of your monthly income, monthly expenses total. You just put your total there. Monthly saving goal, 10-15%. You put it there. Monthly investment goals. Did you get how much you got to save? Like what your goal is versus actual, what you actually got. Investment amount. What do you have to invest? It could be zero. And your sources of your investments. If you're doing Bitcoin, if you're doing Forex, you put these there. And what was your savings and what's your goal for this month? You may have a goal for something, add something to the house, things like that. So on the flip side of this book is very, very simple. You have a section that says bills, week 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's for each month. So you have your month there, and then each bill, like this could be your mortgage, this can be your car note, insurance, credit card, credit card, credit card. Now I have 6 sections, not to overwhelm people, but when I have way more than 6 sections of bills, I split these. And then by the third or fourth month, when I look, maybe this whole section is blank because I have paid the credit cards off. You see what I'm saying? Here at the bottom, I have like core bills, like light bill can be here, water bill, gas bill, internet, cable, other. You see what I'm saying? That's core bills, that these things that you want to pay for your living situation. So I already have that in one section, and you could just like one, because the good thing is that also if you're bad with time and paying things, because what end up happening, you know what I noticed? They don't send bills no more to people. They don't send paper bills. So everything is online. And if you don't check your online and you're not on point to your bills, you're going to miss a payment sometimes. And my son asked me, like, how you never miss your payment? I'm like, because I know when they do. And it's because I got that book. Because sometimes I was like, damn, when that credit card payment due? And I go right to my book. And at the end of the section, it'll say, I put how much is due and what's the balance. So I'm old school. I did want to show you that, guys, that we do have that. We will be took it off the screen pretty fast, but we will be sharing that with you guys at the bottom if you would like to order that book. Now, what we're going to do is get to part 2 of this month's webinar. This is going to be a flashback, guys. All right, this was something that I recorded maybe earlier in the year, how to profit in 2024 with tax liens and tax deed investment. So we're going to let this play for you guys. And what I'm going to say to you, if I don't come back live on this seminar, that I appreciate you guys being here with Lashley, your real estate legal consultant. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Most recently, I have consulted with a few Georgia people who are having troubles closing the deal on their property. And, after they bought their tax lien and the lawyer said, hey, you want to do it $5,000 each. And I'm like, what? You can do that yourself. So I do have consulting service where I can walk you through the method of doing it yourself. I cannot legally be your power of attorney, but I can show you all the reference laws, the documents, and the proof of what you need to do, and highlight basically highlighting that I saved you more than $4,500, because a consultation with me is well under $500. And the things that you need to do, especially in that particular case with the people from Georgia, it doesn't cost you a lot to close the deal. So if you have any issues such as that, you want to know how to transfer property amongst family without having to go to a lawyer, these are some of the things that I consult with. So we will be sharing updates of my consultation page with you in the next couple of days. But until then, I have a little bit more to share with you. You guys have been amazing to me today. I thank you for letting me go on and ramble. I hope you guys learned a lot. So now in part 2, we're going to get into the tax lien and tax deed portion, where we're going to talk tax liens and tax deeds. So let's get to it. We're going to figure out how to budget and plan so we can get to the property. You know how they say get to the bag? We want to get to the property. Okay? Hold on. Let's see. Please get into the teacher career was. Many of us are locked out. Welcome, welcome. Okay, y'all. I had to put it up there. So y'all need to see 2 of me today. Right now, I'm going to get off the screen and I'm going to let you guys watch this tax deed state, knowing that if it's a tax deed state, we're going to come at a higher threshold. That higher threshold, i.e., will be some portion of the fair market value, depending on the state, or a good amount of back taxes. Usually, when the all right, guys, we're going to restart it. I do apologize. I did notice that the volume wasn't loud. So let's just, so you can hear when we start talking about tax liens, okay? Thank you, guys. We did that. As well as if you come in, y'all, please get into the group. Let's start it from the beginning. I share a lot of information in the group. Anyone who makes a post, I try to make it my business to answer that particular post. I'm coming to find out that a lot of the content that is on our platform, which is a tax lien educational platform, okay, online platform, has a lot of the information that many people are looking for. I.e., example, who would have knew someone was so interested in selling numerous amount of their tax lien properties or tax lien certificates? And this particular person kind of went into asking, how do you go about it? Because it's much different than the actual regular process of selling homes. You remember when we went into selling tax liens and tax deeds versus conventional homes, it's much different. Also highlighting when you're selling tax liens and tax deeds, you may have fewer options when it comes to realtor. So you may have to be your own realtor. So that's why we went into how to understand contracts, how to put up your own ads, what a good ad consists of, and how to negotiate. So we went into a lot of that. So I hope that member that asked that question today kind of got some of the answers with the resources that I shared with her. And if you have any more questions, just continue to, just right on the feed. So I love that. I love that we're starting to conjugate. We're starting to ask questions. I will explain to you guys. This is something very important that we're going to go over towards the end of the broadcast is the state-to-state breakdown, okay? I have two ways that you can access the state-to-state breakdown without having to be fully in the course. So I want you guys to know that because I have a lot of individuals that come and ask me about specific states, and I always refer them to our actual YouTube membership. That's $9.99, and you'll have access to all of the states in the United States, even Puerto Rico, as well as the District of Columbia and Hawaii. We made sure that we did that. As well as if you come in through the membership, if you decide to go on the membership on the website, not only will you have access to all of the states and other parts of the website that we're going to show you, but you will have access to the PDFs because I'm working on it. That's the last thing I want to do. I said I'm not like literally going into next year and the state-to-state breakdown is not totally completed on the website. So the last part was literally adding each PDF in a particular file section so it can be available for you guys. So I've been working on that. Hopefully I'll be done in about 5 more sittings of 4 hours. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I woke up real early this morning. I'm like, I gotta get it done. So that's what I want to show y'all today, but the videos are available. And as the rest of the content, which is the PDFs is available, you'll get an email to tell you, hey, check out the PDFs that you have access to, okay? So let's get to it. Do we know what a tax lien and tax deed is? Do you know what's the difference between a tax lien and a tax deed? That's the first thing that we have to really clarify for people. You have to know if you want to be investing in a tax lien state versus a tax deed state. This is very important because this is going to tell you or give you an idea of what your initial investment threshold should be or about. As you know, if you go in through the tax lien method, you're getting vested interest in the tax certificate. No, you do not own that property, but you have vested interest. And each particular state has their own time frame in which you have to wait so you can move forward to redeem that property or move forward to, gain, oh, I do apologize, to gain possession of that property, okay? So the tax certificate process in itself is basically giving you vested interest with the opportunity of receiving interest, depending on the particular state. As you know, some states do it a little bit funny. If you run into a bid down state, we talked about that, you may not receive any interest in that particular state. So this is why we went down the yellow brick road of each state, different counties, to kind of show you how it goes. And remember, everything that we show you, we want you to use it as a case study. You go in yourself and start to look in that particular county and see, can you mimic or do some of the things that we have done live. Okay, that's the most important thing. Now, so we choose if we're going to come in as a tax lien state or a tax deed state, knowing that if it's a tax deed state, we're going to come at a higher threshold. That higher threshold, i.e., will be some portion of the fair market value, depending on the state, or a good amount of back taxes. Usually, when the instrument is a deed, that means it's at least 3 years or 4 years of back taxes, plus other penalties and things that they add on. This is why when you're investing in a tax deed, you can pretty much ensure that you're going to you at least want to start with $10,000. I'm just going to be honest, depending on the particular state, the area, what's the fair market value of what you're invested in. Is it land? Is it land? It's definitely going to be cheaper. Or does it have property on it? Is it commercial? So all those factors play a part, but that's kind of like my roundabout when it comes to tax deeds starting off. Tax liens, I would say if you're coming in over the counter, which is the passive way, okay? That's for the newbies or people who are just laid back, because I'm not a newbie, I'm laid back though. I just like to go over the counter, I like to chill, do it more easy, give me time to do my research, really, really thorough, find if it's bankruptcies, if, open mortgages, everything. I want to know enough before I put my money down because, Lashley been through the ringer. I don't want to have to sue nobody. So I go that route, but this year we're actually going to be participating in the tax lien auction in Georgia. So when we do that, we got a surprise for you. I think that's coming up in February. I already have a date on my calendar, so I'm praying I can get everything orchestrated. I'm not going to talk too fast, which I know when I say it, I'm going to get it done. So we do have some more information to show you about Georgia. Now, as we broke those two down, tax lien versus tax deed, you got an idea. But before all of this, we want to know what is our actual investment goal. I always stress that because when you know your investment goal, meaning I want land, I want commercial property, I want to be close to the ocean, I want to be close to the city. These are the things that's going to shape your budget as well as a tax lien investor. Okay, so if you're going into a city like Atlanta, in the midst of Atlanta, you probably pay a little bit more than going into a more rural area in Georgia. Does that make sense? And you may not have to go through so much rigmarole as far as the tax lien process. Sometimes in slower or lower value counties, it's not as, how can I say, probably not as smooth. You may have to do more emailing and mail back and forth. They may not have everything on the computer. So you just want to pick and choose, okay? Because some people really want to invest in rural areas, and we support that as well. And we talk about mitigating risk factors, okay? That was something that we touched this year. Mitigating risk factors is starting with thinking about what type of risk factors will be in this particular area. If it's in the city, you're gonna think about crime, you're gonna think about traffic, you're gonna think about transportation. If it's in a rural area, you're gonna think about, is it buildable? Is the land structure right? Does they have any landfills? These type of things you want to think about because you go in there and they'll get your investment tax lien. They're not going to stop you. Or the deed, they're not going to stop you, and then you get a property that's literally junk property, condemned, or not inhabitable, or you can't build on it because it's not zoned for what you want or whatever, okay? And that's why we also went into zoning. Now, a lot of these concepts that I'm bringing up right now is part of your due diligence process. In that due diligence process, I always recommend that it happens before you step foot in the tax lien auction. Please, or the deed auction. This is what I recommend, but some people are big, they're good, They go and then they do their research, find out a little bit more, they have to handle it, okay? And it's so sad sometimes when you do your research before, you still find out a little bit more later on and still have to handle it. Because as I tell you guys, no matter how perfect I try to be, not if it's perfect, but try to do my due diligence, there'll be something at the end that you gotta handle. So I want you guys to be real about this situation, this process. It is not the typical way of investing. It's not really straightforward as you're going through a foreclosure process, a foreclosure sale. It's a little different because as I explained to you guys, when you go to some of these auctions, they may have 3 or 4 different auctions going on at the same time. I.e., you may have bid.com, you may have auction.com there. I do apologize. Then you may have a foreclosure sale handled by the sheriff sale. Then you may have the tax lien sale there. Okay, so those are the things that you have to distinguish. I.e., I witnessed that in Macon. It was 3 different circles. And I'm like, okay, which one do I belong in? Like tax lien, auction, this. I'm like, okay, now. So that's what you want to keep in mind, what particular sale is going on. Now, when you go into a place like auction.com, they have those things literally computerized, everything systemized and done for you. So the process can be done much easier, and you have different fees. You see what and you're coming in at a higher investment rate. But when you're coming in as a tax lien or tax deed investor, it's like literally coming in, you're doing it yourself. You really have to do your due diligence yourself. So I want you to understand that sometimes you can go to these sales and you may think it's a tax lien sale going on, but it may be something else. So you want to ask the actual entity that's hosting it that day, which one do you belong to, and do you have the correct list as well? Okay. Now I say that because when we were in Macon, that same tax lien circle, they were reading another list, and I mentioned it to you. I was like, what are they reading? Do I have the right list? But they held particular properties that they felt that they can build a little bit more value by offering them at a set price above like $5,000 and above bidding, and they would I think it was like they'd transfer the papers over to you or something like that without the transfer fee. So that $5,000 was something to stop you from having to do an extra process, as well as that property was reviewed by the actual county. It wasn't guaranteed, but it was like a property that the county pulled and said, okay, this is a good one. Okay, does that make sense? And that was just making. Other counties can do different things. So do keep in mind that there's over 3,000 counties in the United States that you can invest in. So we're not talking about just the states. We're talking about each county. That's why I always stress to the buyback team, we're not in competition. We should be working together. Because even if we have 10 or 15 people in one state, it's more than 10 or 15 counties, depending on the state. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and then you want to work together. I.e., if you do work in the same county with someone, you cannot bid together. You cannot, unless you guys, like one person is just talking, that's it. It can't be you on one side and a person on the other side. And I'm being real honest. I want you guys to be honest in this process, because there's a lot of snakes in here. And when you come in honest, you're going to be able to see the snakes. But in this particular situation, you would be blackballed from the actual tax lien or tax deed sale if they're kind of figuring that you're trying to corner the market. Okay, so please know, if you're part of the buyback team and you got some of the shirts on that I'm going to show you in the hoodies, y'all can't do that. You have to have different properties that y'all bidding on, because if that happen, they may kind of try to say y'all trying to put out the market. This is for the buyback team. Everybody else, y'all just, that's not right. They don't want you to do that. All right, so now that you have the idea of the different areas you're looking in, the idea of the vast amount of counties you can invest in, you kind of got an idea of now amount that you want to start. You have to think about budgeting and saving. You have to have a budgeting and saving mindset to actually succeed in the tax lien and tax deed sale. Honestly, if you're not good with managing money, this is probably not going to be a good fit for you. If you're not good with paying bills on time, this may not be good, because you have to be on a timetable, especially when it comes to when you have to foreclosure, like in a place in Maryland, you have to do the foreclosure process. Everything has to be to the T in that particular state. They are so OCD, it's ridiculous. Even not ridiculous, but it is. Even when it comes to selling, you that particular state and other states really want you to have everything together. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, moving forward, we're talking about equity and understand how much equity you may get out of the deal. This is something that you want to keep in mind as well, because this is what you want to keep in your budget and say, is it worth it? Because now you're moving on into the research process. Now, if you get into the research process and you see a particular property that's worth 325,000 in today's market, and the taxes behind is about $5,000, $6,000. You're like, hey, I'm really interested in this property. I have a budget about $10,000. I think I could win this property. I have more than enough. Maybe this state don't make me do the foreclosure property. Maybe I only have to do get a title insurance and then get the deed recorded. You remember, we are looking at the end game too. This is why we know each state to state breakdown. The end game is what do we have to do to possess the property. Even if you put them on notice and say, hey, I'm going to move forward, or the Treasury said, tell them that you're about to move forward, their time is over from where you invested, you still don't have possession of the property. You have to do it the right way. I.e., in Georgia, you don't have to do a foreclosure process, which then you have to do a formal notification, which the county will do, and then you have to go make sure that you perfect the title, which is like $250, $300. Shouldn't cost that much at the end game of doing a transaction in Georgia, but this is the things you want to know. So this is what you're keeping in mind of the equity that you're receiving, what you have to do. Who do you have to pay to get this done correctly? Can you do it yourself correctly? Don't wait till the last minute to think about these things and then you're scrambling because you have a timetable. Now that timetable is that if it's a tax lien certificate, it can expire. Now they don't expire in 1 year, okay? So I hope in 1 year plus you get it together, you move forward. But it's usually a year, 2 years after the expire for the homeowner to redeem their property. And sometimes up to 2, 3 years, and even 5 that tax lien certificate expire. But just understand while all of those years are building up, those are taxes building up. And you supposed to have vested interest in each one of those years. If not, and it's a particular state like Florida, like we sell them whenever, we just gonna keep auctioning to different people. You better pay attention. Then you have other people who have vested interest in the particular tax certificate that you have. So you want to be on your A game, and this is why I say if you're not good with paying bills and debt and time, keeping time, and paying on time, and this may be something hard for you. That's why we start with those episodes that I have prior, secure your energy. When y'all saw me outside, I was outside hustling, selling waste trailers, hustling. That's my other side job, okay? Yes, health is wealth. But I was out there and I was like, let's do some live, just talk about, securing our energy, getting ready for the transition. Maybe my soul told me that I wasn't going to be working for 8 months at that time, but I was really tired of nursing. And it was like, prioritize your bills, get rid of the things that you don't need. If you don't need cable, don't use cable. You got internet, you make her watch everything. Fire stick. Just little things. Maybe you don't need to buy coffee every day. Maybe you make your coffee. 9 out of 10, it probably tastes better. Those little changes could actually save money, get you in the realm of being disciplined. And at that time, the money you're saving, being disciplined, you can move forward and invest in tax liens or tax deeds. This is a whole mind frame and a way of living. Does that make sense? Nothing that I'm telling you is going right now. Do it, do it, do it, do it. No, I want you guys to be safe and I want you guys to be successful, because at the end of the day, I totally understand why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I want to be out of the hands of the big bankers. Okay? I don't want any more home loans. I don't want any more 4% interest. Guess what? They like, you're not going to get 4% interest. Now it's 8. Between 7 and 8%. You see what I'm saying? Who's winning here? Is it us?
So I don't like it. This is why I said, okay, I learned this method based on I had shared that story today, how I got started, based on tragedy, a broken heart. But I learned a lot, and it really you say, how they say God is just perfect, put you right in the lane. I said, this is amazing because I hate interest and I want property. Let's do this. Easy. I want interest, but I don't want to pay interest. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Sometimes the little guy got to take a break. So this is what really pushed me into the tax lien and tax deed realm. And I know that's what's pushing you guys even now. A lot of you just forced. You just can't even deal with the interest, can't even deal with the whole rigmarole of what you have to do to get a loan. So you like, hey, if I got to do all this to get a loan, I might as well just do all my due diligence and then I won't have no interest at the end if I do this right. That's why I'm seeing things are just exploding with tax liens and tax deeds. Shout out to the group. I appreciate you guys. So calculating these things, having self-control of your spending, budgeting, is going to get you in the frame of getting ready to invest and then understanding how to calculate that equity. Because at this point, you want to be a saving machine, okay? We also have to show you our product. We had this product for the last 2 years. Oh my God, I wish I could show y'all. It's not even, okay, I'm going to put it on the screen. Don't worry, it's a book. You see that? I'm debt-free book. We're going to put it on the screen at the end. We're going to show you on the shop. Basically, it's a 12-month ledger. And the reason why I made this 12-month ledger, it is actually equipped for middle school students all the way to high school. I was able to get my first set of sales with this book this year to a local charter school, not in this state, but a local charter school. And it was for actually 8th graders, okay? So basically it's a ledger of all your bills that you spent for the month, how much you bring in. I have another, section of how much you invest here, how much you want to, it's pretty cool. And you write it. When you write it and you say it and you see it, you be committed because you get tired of writing that the balance is going up on your bills. If you see it on a computer, you're like, cut it off. But if you're writing it out and you're planning, you're like, okay, my balance was $8,000 last month. And then next month, your balance is $9,600. You're like, what the? You're going to look at how the heck that got like that. You're going to find out if it's the interest is interest just spending. So I have tools like that to bring us back to the essence of understanding and having self-control. Everything around us is to have us depend on the system and we losing our critical thinking. So that's why I had that because that starts us in. All right, so now we're moving forward. I gave you some foundation of, thinking, calculating, now mitigating risk factors. Those mitigating risk factors is going to start with how much due diligence you do. Due diligence start with you getting that list. Well, it actually started all the way back there what we were talking about. But the next phase 2, okay, is getting the list and starting to, phase that list down to your needs, to your budget. First, you look at the amount. That's what I do. Anything under $7,000, I'm looking at, I highlight them all. Then anything that don't have an address, I'm highlighting those because I don't want a house. I want property. I want land. So that's what I'm looking for. You can anything that is 750 square feet, you can look at that around that amount, start to, level down what you want when you're looking at that list. That's some of the things that we teach you in the course, how to look at that list, especially if you're going over the counter and you want to always get residual. And I teach you that, how to always get residual when you don't want the land, where you just want know that they're going to give you your interest. So we teach you that little key. I talk about it all the time. I'm going to talk about it today. I want y'all to hunt a little bit. It's a pretty simple way of looking at things, but you can look at a list and actually determine who's going to pay you before that deadline for you to move forward, okay? So you're looking at that list, you're determining. Now you're like, okay, I picked 5 or 6 properties. The only reason why I say 5 or 6 is because, especially if you're going to the auction, you want to be able to at least win 2. So these auctions sometimes be very high value, They really, sometimes the finger be strong, because sometimes they don't use the one, because it gets too high. So I know making that was really cool. And everybody putting their finger up. I was like, wait, how you catching the fingers? But that's what he was doing. So with that goes to say you want to be on point, you want to have options, but while you're looking at that option, now you're going to do your due diligence. You're going to look into the area it is. What do you think you look into first? I'm going to be honest. The first thing you want to look into is the zoning. What is going on around here? What can I do with this property? If you don't look into the zoning, it may get you in a little doozy at the end. That little one step that you miss may lead you to condemned property or unbuildable property or property that is nice land, but you just can't, do anything with it. So or because it has an easement on it. So we teach you how to look for easements as well. When you're looking through the deeds, the old deeds, you're going to go to particular entities. I don't want to give you everything tonight, but you go to the land records department, you go to the tax lien. I do apologize. The tax assessor's office. That's one of your first go-to. That's most likely where you're going to get the list from. Different counties have different entities that host it. Usually it is the tax assessor's office, but if not, it may be the sheriff. But that list may be between the tax assessor's office or the treasury office and the newspaper. At least how many weeks, y'all? Don't let me start talking about how many weeks, y'all. At least 4 to 6 weeks, they will have those property lists in the local newspaper. So you can call the county to get that information. They'll let you know. You want to start around that time. You got at least 6 weeks to start looking at these particular properties. But before that 6 weeks, you knew what state you were going to. You knew what county. You knew what area you were into, what it was zoned for. So you did the dirty work already. You kind of know, like, okay, you got schools, you got this. So everything we talked about before is already done. Now you're moving on, like I said, to phase 2, when you're going to get the nitty gritty about the home. What are we looking for? Does this home have liens? Do we have issues when we're looking at all of the recorded deeds? This is what title companies do. What we show you is what title companies do. They literally look through at least 80 years of back information that's public information that you can actually look through, but you need to know what you're looking for. There can be errors in transferability, meaning there wasn't 2 parties who transferred it, the husband and wife. It could have been just the husband. That was something that maybe got passed by mistake that you saw. Maybe someone wasn't put on notice, because everyone who was put on notice for the particular property, you'll be able to find out if you look into the court records. You find that will cause a problem, but it depends. Because if the person is not alive, they're deceased, like a executor of account. Certain things could be worked around when it comes to people not being put on notice. But these are the things that you're going to be looking for. You'll be able to see that just by looking at the public information. Like, wait a minute, that's what Lashley was talking about. This one ain't even got a seal, because everything is pretty much uniform, but just a little different. There's a basis to everything. And as I told you guys, the way I've learned tax lien and tax deeds, the structure of it is just like healthcare nursing. The body is structured the same, no matter where it's at. But you just need to know what is the dysfunction or where it needs to be fixed. So it's the same thing when you're looking at the tax lien and tax deed continuum. Once you know what to look for, what types of system flows, the paperwork, what you need to look for errors, then it's going to save you a lot. You even know, I need to go on the website, on the IRS website, or call the IRS and find out does this particular property have liens on it. That is public information. I show you how to do that. You want to look into, if you're really serious, I'm just telling you, because this is what I do, because I'm not trying to have no else stopholds. I don't want no else stopholds. And a stophold is an example of a divorce, a bankruptcy. These are public information you can find, and you can use one step, like call them one-step website, but they may not be all of the right information, but it can lead you down a yellow brick road. I mean, as far as like white pages having like a $5.99 monthly membership where you can pull out all of the people who's connected to that entity name. So for instance, you have found someone who owns this particular property. Now, when the property, you're looking and you see the person is not alive, but you see the person has kids. So you're like, these kids alive. So why is this property still in this person's name and the kids didn't get it or not maintaining it? This will prompt you to say, does this person has a will? And then you're like, okay, we can do it right into public information. 9 out of 10, you want to start where the house is at. Usually the person is buried there. You can find this information and then you're like, hey, maybe I want to look into the kids, and then you'll go down like yellow brick road if it's important, because that person, those kids need to be put on notice. Okay? These some of the things we teach you. Is it worth it? $320,000. Your initial investment is 10. Is it worth the extra work? So these are some of the things that you consider. These are some of the things that you have in your mind when you're doing your due diligence. And these are some of the concepts that we teach you in the course. Now, you want to know what you will possibly get back. Okay, I may not be able to foreclose on this. I may not be able to possess this property, but what can I get back? And this is why you want to know what type of county you're dealing with, as far as most counties does compound interest. They don't do simple interest where if they say it's 8%, you just get 8% no matter what time it comes back. If it's 8%, that's divided by 12 months. Does that make sense? So if you get 8% interest rate, 6% interest rate, it's divided by 12 months from the month that you invested. So if the person visits 12% interest rate and you get paid 6 months down the line, you're getting 6%. Okay, so you want to be able to calculate that realistically, based on your money. So if you did $5,000, 8% is not a lot. That's a couple of $100. Something's better than nothing. If you had that $5,000 in your bank account, you probably would have spent it. You see, so I look at that side of it too, because it teaches me self-control. Because I'm like, I know I'm going to get this money back. This is the county that I'm dealing with. 9 out of 10, I'm going to get it back unless something severely bad happened, But if they want to be funny, take them to court. No, let me stop. Please don't take nobody to court 2024. Just don't stress it. I'm just playing. Stand up for your rights. Y'all know Lashley, you mess with me, baby, you're going down. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, though. If I'm wrong, I'm a very honorable person. I try my best. But don't come for me. Don't be trying to steal my stuff. All right, so what's next? All right, let's get into this. So redemption period, as we know, expiration period. I mentioned that. Know it. You know your responsibility. If you're going over that time when a person is able to stop redeeming, that is your time to move on forward. Move on out. Move on out. Just like me, Maryland. I said 6 months, I'm on you. Calling the lawyer. Let's go. And the places that I knew I would be redeemed from, they had to pay the lawyer what I had invested to get. They end up losing. So I'm the lawyer, like, cool. You're like $500. We start the foreclosure process, put them on notice. When he put them on notice, they like, oh no, we gotta pay them. So they had to pay the lawyer the money, and then I got my interest and stuff. You see what occurred? You move forward. You ain't had time for nobody else to try to get interest in it. So definitely know that. We talked about some of the disadvantages. Another disadvantage, as I mentioned, is neglected property. That could be a headache, y'all. Honestly, the cost to rebuild stuff is probably more than the cost to just build from scratch. So keep that in mind. I know you probably get a bargain for some stuff, but you want to look at the place structural wise, because that may cost you more money. And then once you own it and they start to give you fines out of the blue, like, yeah, they got a new owner. Let's give them some fines. I'm just playing. It depends on the county. You don't want to be involved in that stuff. So please be aware of the actual house structure, because there are a lot of houses that are condemned, that been through things that were not taken care of. All right. So we talked about liens expired. We talked about competition, the type of competition to be aware of, and that is at the tax lien auction. Oh, and somebody was mentioning today, she was like that some people will talk about some of this, but don't say how to secure the tax lien certificate. And I was confused because you just got to pay your money. You got to go to the auction. They say 1,000, 1,000, or you got to write a letter to the county and say, hey, I'm interested in your over-the-counter sales. Do you offer a list? How do I go about doing it? All you got to do is ask some questions and put some money down. So I was reading that. She had a very lengthy post, and I was like, Dad, they don't tell you that. That's all you got to do is just say, hey, and the county be like, give me your money. I'm just playing, but that's what they do anyway, okay? So the importance of intelligent pricing. Now this is when, hold on, now that's going to be going towards the end. That's when we're going to be talking about selling. Okay, because that's that. If you have a plan to sell, you want to plan to make sure money, okay, and price properly based on your actual area, because it changed all the time. And then you have people who be trying to buy from you, trying to scam. Okay, do you know they be trying to scam too? You know we went over the scams last week. That's gonna be my go-to for secure your energy, highlighting all the scams, the new scams. But they doing it through the house, like calling your phone, like I would like to buy your house. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? That's just like telemarketing. If I don't trust telemarketing, I'm gonna trust you. Anybody calling you trying to buy your house, just hang up. Even if you got to list it and they say that they got to do the listing, do that, you know, and you like, what is the call number? They're like this, that, and the third. This time, y'all need like a third party. Okay, I'm just telling you, I feel like I'll be needing like a third party. I'm a shark. I'll be having to tell these people, I'm tired of y'all. Y'all be thinking y'all about to scam me. I could just imagine what the regular people go through who don't know what I know. Even when I know what I know, y'all be trying me. You see what I'm saying, y'all? This is why I'm teaching you this so you don't lose your home. You don't lose your property, too, in the end, even after you gain it through the tax lien sale. Or if you're trying to sell your conventional home, you see what I'm saying? And you're in a tight jam. You have a lot of people that's just trying to do swiper, okay? So this year, 2024, we're not letting no one swipe anything from us. We're not going into any particular loans without knowing what's the disclosures. If it's a fixed interest rate, is it worth it? Or if we just not taking nothing this year, y'all, okay? So let me see if I have anything else I want to share. We're about 41 minutes into this live as far as the key information that I share with y'all. I think I went down Yellow Brick Road a lot because I'm about to go actually into the website again. Yes, I'm going to go into the website. I want you guys to see what we have to offer. Don't be afraid to just go browse around. Shout out to our Facebook user. Love you, love you. Thank you for your support. Any questions, put them down in the chat. You know, well, you know, Lashley likes to talk. I was about to say Nurse Lashley. Either way, Lashley likes to talk. If I know something, if I don't know something, I would like to explore. All right. Oh, also, you know where you can do your research. I remember which I said, price value is everything. So you want to know how to do your comparison. You want to know about comps and everything. And that's even before you're selling. You just want to know what you're getting into, what you may be stuck with, what the market looks like in that particular area. Is it growing? Is it shrinking? Is it rural? Is it city? Is the city coming? Just like I explained to you guys. You want to do as much research, and you can do that through Zillow. You can do that through Realtor.com. A lot of these places that will have a lot of that information about the schooling, the value, the crime, the income. You want to know all of that, okay? Remember, you want to take your time because you want to win, okay? Now, what else we got? Oh, just know that some auctions do have auction fees. Most auction fees I don't think they totally refundable if you don't bid, but I know if you bid that they do usually go into the monies of what you bid or what you owe. So you want to verify that with the actual county. what's those practices. And you also want to keep in mind too, some counties don't hold their own auctions. They have a particular third party that hold those auctions. So you will find that out on the website. Or you have certain like treasuries or state treasuries that hold the auctions information too. They may not have the auctions at their particular location. I forgot what state it was, and it had all of like a few different counties that offered tax liens and when they were having a sale and the dates, and we were able to go to those particular counties. So you want to keep your research diverse, know the main entities to go to start there, and then move forward. I just want to make sure we go through the notes, and those main entities are the county treasury. I'm telling y'all, it's all okay. We're just giving it all to you. It's the county treasury, county tax assessor's office, the county recorder. Take notes of this. County survey office and zoning. Okay, if I didn't teach you how to do your due diligence tonight and every single night that I come up here, I might as well just get y'all a course for free. I love you. Anyway, also, like I said, you want to know the bid and practice. Let's see that.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do is bring this information session to a close. In this was an actual flashback, and in this flashback, I went into just continuum of information that we were talking about in the beginning. So I hope you like the flow of the information, getting you into the mindset of being a tax lien investor, how it start with actual budgeting and savings, and how you approach your own home. How you control what you look at as being assets, what you look at as being liabilities. So again, I told you that I was going to share the website with you guys, but I wanted to share it with you in real time because we have some updates on the website. It is more navigatable for people. Again, you can find all of our social medias at the top of here. We also have an Eventbrite account. So in this little right here is the Eventbrite. You can see some of our very, very discount and free seminars that we have there. We have some on demand as well. Now here, this is our main page. What I do want to show you guys is our one-on-one consultation services. This is something new that we added to our services. What do we mean by one-on-one consultation? For the people who need to be walked through the tax lien and tax deed process, I will and I am willing to walk through the process with anyone in and outside of the state of Georgia. With the option of you being in Georgia, I can possibly attend your first auction with you. But as far as doing your due diligence and making sure that you pick the safest property as possible and just understanding the method, this is what we offer. There's a five-step consulting services for new investors. So step one is investing strategy call. So we'll talk to you, figure out what's your strategy, what do you want, what state you're looking in deeds, you're looking into tax liens, and then we'll help you navigate based on just your primary information. Access our comprehensive online program, including a detailed walkthrough on conducting your due diligence based on a specific investment interest. So what we do is give you access to the full course. So you will be able and you are prompted to go through the course while we are walking you through this. The next consultation you will have with us is actually doing your due diligence based on the the properties that you have chose. Support for in-person or online auction guide you through your first tax lien or deed. So if you're going to plan on doing online, I can be with you to help you. Or if you're going to do in person in the state of Georgia, in particular areas, I will be available with you to attend your first tax lien investment. We do have a 60-day goal. And we kind of push it to 90 days, 60 to 90-day goal, where we prompt whoever takes these one-on-one consultations with us that they invest in the first 60 to 90 days in their prospective state. That's our goal. We want to get you right through the method. Okay. So follow-up consultation that focus on closing the deal and transferring the property into your name after the redemption period has lapsed. So this is not just a closed relationship where we talk to you now and just leave you, especially if you're doing a tax lien. What we do is we keep we help you keep tabs on when your redemption period is, and we will help you through that process if you need to. So you can have a follow-up consultation and say, hey, I'm in the state of Georgia. It's time for me to redeem. As I mentioned, the lawyer says $5,000 is to do this. Why is it? And then we can say, hey, this is the method that you need to do. This is the laws that back it up. This is the document that you need. You can get it verified by a lawyer. Sometimes you can have a consultation, pay for that consultation with all the information that you have, and they'll verify it for you. It saves you a lot of money if you do it yourself. You file it yourself. It is more easy. You can always get your document checked by a professional. That's much cheaper than a professional actually doing it for you. Now, we don't not prompt you to see a professional if you don't feel like you can get the method done yourself, especially if it's your first time. But this is why we have this program, so people can be self-sufficient, because the fees and the rates that you guys are being charged to do simple applications of administrative process that I know of as a legal, researcher, not a legal representative, but as a researcher and a consultant, I feel like it's very important to at least give you the option to say, I could be pro se in that in that capacity of thinking about representing yourself. Does that make sense? So we follow up, and then we do closing strategy calls to brainstorm ideas for your new property. So once you get it, we finish that. You get another consultation with us, and we say, hey, what you about to do? Well, you're like, I'm going to keep it. We're like, okay, cool. That's what you're going to do. Love you. Great. Have a great day. Oh, we're going to sell it. Okay. So maybe we can just get you started just there of options and giving you some resources as far as agents that may want to help you, or a self-starting, because we do have other seminars that we're going to show you in the next page that actually focus on different methods that you need, such as selling the property after you obtain it. So if you're interested here, this is our 5-step consultation service that we offer for new investors, one-on-one, that takes place throughout the life of your first investment. Okay, we're here for you. You become a part of the family. So the next update, just want to show you, is under legal real estate consulting services. So this is where you'll find all of our consulting services that we have to offer for you. Right here at the top, we want you to focus on growing your vision. So these are some of the things that we actually offer for you. Growing your vision means empowering yourself. That's the foundation of I do apologize, of growing your vision, growing your mind. So we have the free monthly information sessions that we're actually doing now. So if you want to sign up here, you can sign up here. Or if we have it listed on Eventbrite, you can do that there as well. We have real estate investment consultations, and this is the breakdown of what each consultation consists of. So we want you to understand what it comes, what's the goal and the objective. Credit resolution, wealth builders, that's only for members only who already have access to the full course. This is a free service that we offer just to talk to you just about like what we did at the beginning of this live. We help you strategize. So what's important here is that you'll be able to see all of the information here. Like for instance, property, location, and verification. Now this right here basically falls under our GIS mapping. So once you hit it, you'll be able to go down to where you can sign up. And here you'll know where to look. This is assistance with resources identification. That's mitigating risk factors. Where is our GIS? I believe this is right here. We kind of condensed the GIS mapping service and just assisting with resources because we figured, oh, here we go. I do apologize. Here we go. I was like, I wasn't condensed. So here it says help locating and reviewing maps. This is like helping you find the GIS service that's pertaining to your property so you can see it, cross-reference. We help you cross-reference how it looks, especially to the investors that's out of state. You know, if you can't get a realtor to be there on ground, you want to see as many angles of this property as possible, and that's what we show you in this consultation. Assistance with resources, and that is mitigating risk factors. This is to the ones who need help. Okay. This is to the people who may have invested already or, and found themselves in a bind. And as I mentioned to you, they like, hey, I don't know how to foreclose on this or move forward. What should I do? This is the 2-hour session for you guys where we provide all of the resources for you and we walk you through the process, but you have to be an authority over yourself. So we have different ones here. I just wanted to show you those two. They were 2 new updates. Um, we have real estate investment consulting. This is a 2-hour one. This is to the new real estate investors who's like, hey, I already started. I'm getting a little jammed up, or I'm new. What should I do? And I do recommend this is to the people who really need help, who already kind of move forward into it in some part of real estate, meaning they already starting to foreclose, they know about it, or they're going through the deed method, they have questions, and they already invested, things like that. We have a variety of information we can refer you to as far as legal standing related to foreclosures, deeds, tax liens. Um, it's pretty simple. Once you know where to find it, you'll know where you stand and how to maneuver and what's needed to complete administrative wise. So that's what that consultation, when it says real estate investment consultation, that is for all real estate investors. It does not matter. And most of these services are. But associated with resources, this is particular to um, tax liens. Okay, so kind of switch it up a little bit, but we have a lot to offer you. We have this is the actual property acquisition consultation service, and this is the one where we do the one-on-one with you guys. Okay, so this is what is connected to the first page we showed you, because we're going to help you acquire that property. All right, so if you're interested, one more thing we want to show you guys. No matter where you're at your local church, you are somewhere in Georgia, we do travel, but we do offer 4-hour seminars. Now, do apologize it's reflecting like this, but when you look into the description, tax lien live course one-on-one, that's actually like group. Okay, so that is our group. Oh, I do apologize. Hold on. That one-on-one, I do apologize. I have to give because I just updated that. That one-on-one is basically the consulting services that we offer with property auction consulting, like you said, where we'll walk you through. But with this one, you will basically, everything will be online, and you have only 4 sessions that you can book in 3 months. So the goal is for you to get through this course and ask as many questions as possible and get yourself involved in a tax lien or deed process. But this one, you won't have the choice of me actually walking you through an auction, and a couple of months or years down the line that we follow up with you to make sure that you're about to follow up. Okay, it's a shorter relationship life with this one, but it's about a 3-month span. Does that make sense? So I do apologize for the mix up. The one-on-one is for one-on-one, but it's a shorter amount of span of relationship, about 3 months. And we have 4 like 1-hour consultations with you, and we help you with any questions you have pertaining to getting through that course. Okay. So the last one we have is live or online group sessions. We host 4 hours online group session or in person. Okay. These are for the people who are in churches who want to us to show your members how to do the due diligence or anything to that capacity. Groups who have, usually I think it's supposed to be 4 or more. I just want to make sure. I think it was a group of this group has to be over 5. I'm going to look at the detail. The reason why, that's why we have it priced like this, because for the 4 hours, we break everything down for the group between 5 to 10 people. And they can ask us all types of questions. And I yeah, all types of questions, and they also would receive access to PDF files. Okay, PDFs that we show you throughout the seminar. Okay, so that's some of the new things that we had to offer. You can come here and find out more information about each. Very descriptive, and you already know we have our program available. Once you sign up, these are the prompts that you will use, because you'll be part of our membership. You'll be part of the family, and that is for members only. These buttons right here, or people who purchase the seminars. Okay, so we're not going to get into the seminars today, because usually I'll go into everything, but we will go into the seminars that we offer on our next live. So we're going to close off this session by letting you know we will be back on Wednesday. For our conventional members, we are going to go into Fulton County tax lien sale. Okay, so we do have some clips from Fulton County. We do have some information about Fulton County, some controversy. It's always controversy with Fulton County, but it's pertaining to the tax lien sale and certain things. And we want you guys to be aware that's a high value county in Georgia. And they tax sales be going pretty good. They be on it, but we'll talk about it. So we're going to talk about Fulton counties this week. And then next week, we're going to work on attending another Fulton County auction because I did go out there already, but I want to see can we get better footage because it wasn't that many homes on the list. They were gone. People's paying their taxes out there. So we end up getting footage of other people being out there for the foreclosure auction. So with that goes to say, I hope you guys learned a lot today. I want to say thank you for being here with Lashley. Again, if you need me, I'm here for you. I'm the person to help you mitigate risk factors, or we're going to go save you. We're going to save you. We're going to help you save yourself. Okay. So you have a beautiful Sunday and we will see you on Wednesday.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.